everybody, this is the Drop the Beat podcast. My name is Charles Larita.
And I'm Will Sarver.
And we want to thank you guys so much for beating off with us this week and listening to us beat off. I actually got called out by someone on through text about the beating off intro.
You did?
Yeah, I did, and they were saying, "Why do you have to say that the whole time?" I'm like, "Look, dude, bro, come on, cousin. We're talking the beat. We're dropping the beat. We're beating off. That's what it is. That's what it's called. What else would you call it?"
I don't know, and I don't understand why someone would have a problem with it. It seems harmless to me.
No, they said, "Is it necessary to say it?" And then I said, "Yeah." And that was it. That was the end of the conversation. Yeah, that's what it was. But thank you guys so much for listening every week, as you always do, and of course for beating off with us. We love, obviously, me and Will love beating off together, but we like beating off with an audience and beating off with friends and family and fans and supporters.
It's the
thank
thrill.
you guys. It is the thrill. It's so good. So thank you guys so very much. Will, how you been holding up over there with those fly ass glasses?
Well,
which I guess you finally found.
I did,
Good.
I just kind of reached around, I'm hanging in over here. Got my nighttime shades on, as you mentioned. I got to.
That's what's up, baby. Yeah.
Gotta stay safe. You know what I'm saying? Gotta stay safe.
Damn, that blue light ain't got shit on you.
That's it.
Which is great. I love it. I love it so much. What, you got some tea over there? What you drinking?
Actually, it's really exciting stuff. It's called water.
Ooh.
Normally, I have a nice herbal tea, or a bedtime tea. These days.
Oh, nice.
But I just have plain old water. Not exciting at all. How are you? How are you?
I'm not bad. I have the official 1845 Born and Maine Poland Spring, which I believe 1845 was a fabulous year for water. That's the one I'm repping over here. It's very nice. Listen how good this sounds. Listen to this. That's how you know it's fresh. It's crisp.
Right. That's the sound of 1845 right there.
It is. I'd imagine there's a lot of sickness and bacteria and amputations. But other than that, the water it's not bad. I must say it's not bad. I don't think it's really bottled in Poland. No, it's Born in Maine. Then why is it called Poland Spring? This is bullshit. I want a refund.
It's a lie. Anyway.
I'm all sorts of confused. But I'm okay. I'm okay over here. Still getting used to having shorter hair in all the best ways possible, where it's like, I go in the shower and I just open my hand and just put the biggest, dollop of, shampoo and then realize I don't need that anymore.
You just need a squirt. Just a squirt.
Yeah, just a little
just
10-minute showers. Dude, 10-minute showers are just oh my God, that's something. It's fabulous. I love it.
It is nice.
It's cool. It's good. It's good. But anyway, we have a question this week, William, which I figured I could read to you and we could probably discuss it. I think that would be something good to do.
We can try it. I don't think we've done that.
No, it'll be something new, I think, on the show, which should be pretty fun. But we had someone write a question in, and if any of you guys listening would like to write a question, you can go to charleslarita.com/contact and fill out the little form, your name, where you're from, and your question that you want us to answer in a nice little long format kind of show like we're doing here today. And we will just beat off all over that question. I think it's going to be pretty good.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So we do best.
I think. Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, we're pros at beating it. I think we've been doing it for years and years, honestly. But anyway,
I couldn't hold that one.
No, that's fine.
Oh, I'm a child.
Oh, it's fine. You're in good company. But if we do pick your question, we will send you a free Mischief shirt. So
it's amazing.
Rachel, I was gonna say, yeah, it's pretty damn amazing. I would think so. It's a fun shirt. It's a cool, you're gonna like it. It's free. Who doesn't like free stuff? If I could shoot it out of a big shirt cannon, I would. But I don't think I have that kind of range and trajectory. Wow, I can't even say it.
Not yet. Not yet.
No.
You don't.
Oh boy, I'll make one. Damn it. But anyway, we got someone from the current state we're both in writing in. Rachel M. wrote in.
What?
And she's from New Jersey, which is great. And she has a little preface kind of with this question, which I love the details on this because it's very, very relatable. I know she is not alone with this, and anyone else who has played in a group can definitely relate to this. So Rachel says, I've been playing for roughly 25 years professionally. In my bands, we usually have to use rehearsal space. No matter how conscious we were on time, there would always be a band waiting after us to rehearse. They would always start to drag their equipment in instead of being patient, and now you have two bands occupying the size space for one band, and everyone trying to figure out whose equipment is whose. What is good music etiquette at a rehearsal space and during multi-band live shows? Thank you, guys.
Wow, that's such a good question.
It is. That's fantastic. When I saw this one coming, I was like, "This is a real good one."
It's like these are the things that you don't really think about, but are all too real.
Yeah, and I mean, if we kind of dig back into the recesses of our Borg memory banks, you and I have gone through this stuff incredibly. So Rachel is talking about not so much rehearsal space like the Rat Cave where, you and I have a private thing, but more of a public space where you have to go in and you kind of rent studio time or rehearsal time.
Yeah.
And, you have a time slot kind of thing like that, and you have other bands coming in. And me being a horribly, horribly anxious person all the time, that would freak me out, because something that I wouldn't be overly comfortable with is not only me just trying to clean up, but finishing a rehearsal and someone getting there early. And the whole thing I always say, it's you're done when you're done. If you have time allotted in a space or a set for a band on stage, you're finished when you're finished. When that time is done, that's when you're done. And so if you're another band, you have to be respectful about it. And that's the hardest part, because there are so many groups and bands and things where they just think their shit don't stink, and they can just mosey on. They can just mosey on in and be like, "Oh, yeah, you're done now." And that is just god awful, and I hate that with like a passion. That bothers me so much. Have you ever had to use a public rehearsal space with something kind of like that, and have where it's as thickly scheduled, if you will?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely in a school setting, more so in college for sure, because like you kind of it was one space and you had multiple groups. Like one space had orchestra, jazz band, concert band, symphonic, like everything is in the same room, and it's all, you all have a certain time to be in and out, but you're still, you're rehearsing and people are coming in, floating in and out, talking or trying to set up for their thing that they got going on next. I mean, it happens all the time, unfortunately, but like you're saying, is like, especially in music, time is precious. It's really hard to get.
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
And especially if you're paying for a space, which is even, I think it would be even worse, because people are, you're paying for your time, and either people are cutting you short or they're extending their time, which then now your time is shorter. I think we had a lot of that when we would gig too, because of
definitely.
It's a 45-minute set. Well, some people don't believe in that, and they'll be done when they're done. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the opposite side of done when they're done. We always would. Well, obviously, whenever we walk into a place, the first thing I always do is go to the sound guy if we don't have our own, and we try to be cool with him, and we introduce ourselves. And you always want to be friends with that guy, because he can cut you right off and make you sound like crap on purpose.
Absolutely.
So we never wanted to go over, because we didn't want to be a dick towards him or towards the other bands preceding us or coming after us, because why would we want to cut into someone else's set like that? I mean, they're there for the same amount of time as us, that whole sort of outline of the night. And obviously things don't run on schedule sometimes because of setting up and breaking down and things like that. But the one thing I always realized was, even before the bands are ready to swap out kind of thing, so many bands, and this falls into the egotistical kind of thing, so many bands will purposely just go over their time. Like, usually, like, it gets to a certain point when we're in a set, and I'll be asking the sound guy, how many do we have left? How much time do we have left? And we won't go over. And you'll have so many bands where they'll be like, oh, yeah, you guys are done. And they'll just kick it into another one because they're so full. Yeah, where they're just so full of themselves. And now you're throwing the whole night off. And that is, like, the worst possible thing. There is one awesome instance where that happened, like, in our benefit, which was great. and that was the big Art All Night gig that we had, which was fabulous because that
the
was
one, yeah.
Yeah, we were supposed to go on at 11. We go on at 12 because just all the bands were like, we're going to do another one. And the sound guy's like, please don't. And then you just go into another one. And we ended up getting the best time slot and the biggest crowd. So I wasn't mad about that.
No, sometimes it works out. It's rare, but it...
Yeah, that's like the extremely, extremely rare kind of instance with that. But I mean, we'll do it all the time where we'll be doing a Philly gig or we'll be doing one of those where it's multi-band. And, you know, we go in and we're always nice to all the groups. We want to make friends. And you get some groups in there where they're just, like, really, really into themselves. And they're like, yeah, we're going to do as long as we want and we're going to snub everyone else. Because you have respect in quite a few areas with this kind of thing. You have respect with the amount of time that you play. You have respect towards the other band. And you have respect of the actual space itself. And if you violate all three of those, you're legally, you know, allowed to go hit one of those bands. Like, I'm pretty sure that's how that works.
I think you're right.
Like, oh, this guy purposely spilled a beer and he was late getting there and now he's going over. And it's like, oh, well, you can just go cold cock him. That's how that works.
Yeah, it's written.
I'm not a lawyer. Don't quote me on that.
No, you are a lawyer.
God damn it, you're right. But that's such a huge kind of thing with that. I mean, especially when you have a schedule to stick to, and if anyone's ever had to run any events like that where you're scheduled with a lot of groups, it's hard getting everyone together, considering like the average amount of, you know, you have average 5 band members in each group and you have 10 or so groups on a big set and you're trying to get everyone to run smoothly and, you know, 5 or 10 minutes in between groups, and then you have to, you know, make sure you have this much time and kind of, you know, obviously there's going to be wiggle room on either end because not every song is the same amount of time, but it can go horribly wrong when you have bands like that where they're just like, yeah, we're doing another one. Oh, we got time for one more, and they do like a 15-minute song. And that's like, that is the worst possible thing. Oh, God, I hate that. So much. So much.
There was one situation we had where I think it was an outdoor festival. You know, one of the multi-band things.
Yeah.
And we were towards the end. Probably like more, we had a good time slot later in the day, but you know, we get there early, and we're just listening to bands, but we were just realizing they're a whole band behind. If
this is the gig I'm thinking of, they cut our set short, didn't they?
Exactly. So like we're listening to these bands, I'm like, wow, we're off by like an hour. You know, that's how far behind they are, because these bands are just doing whatever they want.
Yeah.
And you know what? It hurt us big time because we were supposed to get 45 minutes, and I think they were like, oh, yeah, it ended up being like 30 minutes. It's like, oh.
Yeah, I think it was even less than that.
Yeah, they were just like, oh, you know, you guys got 30 minutes. And I'm like, you let these bands on here do whatever they wanted for an hour, so now we have to pay the price.
See, it wasn't. The worst part was it wasn't even like it was some super killer group of bands going on before us. I remember like before us, the band was doing like a Brown Eyed Girl kind of thing, and I was like, you gotta be shitting me. And then it's like, oh yeah, you guys have a 25-minute set now, and we were one of the headliners. Like we were on those posters and those advertisements in big block lettering, William.
Yes,
and that's not how it worked.
Oh, this will sum up the gig. Somebody started "Sweet Child O' Mine," and it was the complete wrong notes. So you can get quite the image there, and we're just seriously.
That was such a big stage though. Like that was a great stage, and then like, you know, you did have a lot of the bands there were fairly disrespectful. Like we're always like, whenever there's other bands playing, I always want to watch. If I'm not casing the joint to get over my anxiety, then I'm always trying to watch what the other bands are doing, and you know, just pay attention and you're respectful towards them. You know, in the church, as we say. And it's like we're on stage and we're getting ready to, you know, do our thing, and we're playing, and you have the other bands already starting to come out like during our last song and start to set up. And it's like, you got to be shitting me, pal. Like, what are you doing?
Yep.
Like that's the worst. And that gig, I remember specifically, we went on even later because we waited for the band before us to get completely off before we started bringing our stuff out. Because, yeah, I don't want to mix our gear up. I've lost things before. Someone grabs something and just goes, whether they do it on purpose or by accident. But, you know, it's so much confusion when you're on you have 5 minutes to switch in between bands. And it's like, Why would you want to have two bands doing polar opposite things? One person's bringing gear on, the other person's bringing gear off, and you have 15 people all at once, sound guys, everything. It's a mess. So it's
a
just like,
recipe for disaster. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, we lost time on that gig because of that additionally, because it's like, yeah, I don't want to go out there and, that kind of a thing. Plus, I mean, I don't blame all the horn guys. They don't want to go out there when everyone's shuffling around because they're holding some pretty expensive instruments. So, yeah, I don't blame them at all. And you have the hardest part because to prep all your thing, I mean, that gig, that one specifically, we didn't have to bring any drums, I remember.
Right. But, it was just like
thank God.
Snare and cymbals, but...
Because that was like, oh, dude, you want to talk about like the height of my anxiety for a gig is when we used to do the Stone Pony gigs. And so like I got to get to the place, I got to walk around, I got to get comfortable. And those places, like that place specifically, it was you wait outside until 20 minutes before your set. They let you in a side door. You have to set all your crap up next to the stage in like a little fenced in area inside. And you just wait. So now you have 10 minutes before you go on stage and you wait. And it's like, that was the worst because you have no time. So it's like, that band's done. You have to run up and put your stuff up there. And I've lost so much stuff. And that's why, like, every time you see a guitar stand, it has, like, the blue tape on it. Or my stuff has, like, a blue thing of tape on it. So I can just catch it with my eye and be like, oh, that's mine.
Right.
And, people walk with stuff all the time.
The purple rope you use to tie up mic cables.
Yeah, the little purple rope ties, yeah. I mean, all that kind of stuff just because... And that was so nerve-wracking because we would do so many checks and be like, oh my God, we probably lost something. I'm going to lose something. I'm going to lose something. I'm worried someone's going to grab a case or something big. And those gigs, you'd have to get all the drums set up and just lift everything. It was awful because it's
drums
just
are the worst. I say it all the time.
It was stressful. It was tense. I mean, swapping stuff on stage like that is just, oh God, I hate that. But the one thing that bothers me about that kind of thing, whether you're playing for a very short set or a longer set, is people who prep their instruments while the other band's playing.
My favorite.
Yeah, whether you got drums and you're tuning your drums, or you have a horn or something and you're playing, walking around. Now, it's one thing if you're backstage and you're away from everyone in the green room and you're doing your thing back there. Totally understandable. But when you're out next to the stage in the wings or you're in the audience... And it's like, that is like the most disrespectful thing you could do besides probably mooning someone. There's probably other things in there too. I'm just going from one end to the other. But
that's pretty.
But that kills me.
It's pretty bad. It ranks really high.
So
up there.
I was gonna say, you and I remember this certain individual at a gig who we saw setting up his pristine $18,000 drum kit. While it was a CD release party, and he's playing while this other band is doing their set. And he's just like getting his stuff together. And we were hysterical because he did look like Bobby Hill from King of the Hill. And he had this massive drum set, and it's like he's tuning. And there's no way he could hear. And half the time when people are doing that kind of stuff, I'm always like, he's doing it for attention. Like, that's literally for attention.
Absolutely.
So people can walk up and... Yeah, so people walk up and like, oh, you're a drummer? Oh, yeah, you noticed? And it's like, get that shit out of my face. That is the worst thing you could ever possibly do. But I mean, now you having larger instruments like that, bigger instrument than everyone else. That was a good bell. Yeah,
that's great.
So you have bigger instruments than everyone else. I'm come up with the case and this and that, and the horn guys have their stuff and things. But you have 1,000 pieces, and they're not small. When we're helping you carry your stuff, and we look like a marching band. I mean, how do you even go about doing a multi-gig show like that, or multi-band show, and being able to switch things in a timely fashion like that when you have that much commotion going on? Because usually your stuff is the last to get up on stage because it's you're waiting for the last guy taking his sweet goddamn time, because sometimes that's another thing too. It's people take too damn long to get off the stage and they're not being respectful for the band coming on.
Right. There's no urgency.
I mean, think about some of those outdoor gigs we've had. So, all right, so one specifically. So everyone who's not in New Jersey or Pennsylvania, we have a food here. It's very mythical, but it's called pork roll, and it does, in fact, exist. It's not Taylor ham. It is called pork roll.
Yeah,
Taylor is the brand, but pork roll is the food. So we had what was called a pork roll fest at one of the places, and that was a big stage, and we had a lot of bands there, and we all had to, you had to bring our stuff, and you had your kit and everything. And just the amount of people coming off on stage and you having to go back up there, I mean... Talk about an anxious thing, because as we're up there, we're helping you we're getting our stuff and tuning everything up and doing mic checks, and then we have to help you get all your stuff up because the last drummer was taking his sweet goddamn time and just dragging his knuckles across the fucking floor.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, and I was like, you gotta be shitting me. And that's the worst because now it's the other side of it. It's not, they're not just standing there waiting for you because that's, you know, it's bad enough when someone's standing and they're an audience as you're cleaning your stuff up and they're on the stage just standing there watching you. But now you got this jackwagon shitheel taking forever to break his stuff down, and we're all just standing here with your drums, and we're like, dude, what are you doing? Oh my god.
Do you remember what happened with that guy? After he took his sweet time taking all his stuff down.
I vaguely remember. I was so angry. I pushed it out of my brain.
I finally get set up all my stuff on the stage, and he comes up to me, yo, bro, that's my drum rug. And I'm like,
oh, that was that guy.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I had to take all my stuff off so he could get his drum rug that he forgot to get. Even though, you know, for the drummers out there, you should always have a drum rug because you never know what situation you're going to roll into. But this was when it was those prefab stages, but they had that carpet lining on the top of it. So he didn't even really need the rug in the first place. I don't. The look I probably gave him, he was like, I'm so sorry. Like, I'll help you. And I'm like, the last thing I need is to touch my stuff at this point because you obviously can't handle your own. So,
oh my god.
But that was the thing. He's like, he had no, people don't have like the urgency and the respect for others. Like, hey, let me get my stuff off here. We're done. Like me, it's like I try and set it up like it's a pit crew. That's like, if I can get it set up beforehand, that's great. But that's pretty rare because it's more so like I need the space to be able to do that. But I try my best and really bust my butt to get everything set up so we could start on time because I really want to get in a sound check. I really, they sometimes the mixers want, to test the mics and all that, the sound guys. So I'm really trying hard. And that's also one of the reasons why I kind of roll with a pretty basic setup because people always give me a hard, oh, you need more drums, you need more cymbals. That's more stuff for me to carry. No thanks.
Yeah.
I can do just fine with what I have, but
yeah. Well, you see the guys roll in with the 18-piece kit, and it's like,
why?
Have fun setting that up. You look like a marching band, dude. But
exactly.
that gig was rough with that guy making you take all the stuff off for the rug because all of the mics were already set up on your kit.
That's the other thing.
We now had to move everything out of the way. I mean, thankfully, like everyone put their stuff down and we all kind of helped to do it. But it's just like so matter-of-factly, we're ready to do a sound check and just, bro, that's my drum rug. And it's like, not anymore. It's not.
Yeah, I was like, oh, thanks. It's mine now. But I mean, you touched on a good point there for all the other non-drummers and band members. I'm very fortunate that the group, you guys are very open and willing to help me out whenever you get a chance, with whether it's setting up or tear down, and it's such a big help. And I guess I can speak for all the drummers out there that we truly appreciate stuff like that. So if anybody is listening, if you're set up and you're feeling pretty good, make sure that, you help give the drummer a little something, help him out because he's struggling back there. He's sweating,
Oof, that is so true, child.
Because
that's
even not even just drummers though. Like we've had that before where people are just like standing around. Nobody's
hands in their pockets.
Yeah, nobody's helping tear down. It's like we have this whole sound system. These speakers are like 1,000 pounds a piece, and they packed up their stuff, and that's all they care about. It's like that's not gonna jive.
No, we had a band member years ago who literally the second he hit that last note, he'd pack his shit up, he'd have his jacket on, and be like, yeah, I'm going to be heading out. And it's like, I'm holding like a giant speaker or something like that. And it's like, great, bud, have a good time. And It's like, you see everyone else helping here. I mean, I'm very particular where I have to carry my own stuff. I have to pack up my own stuff. I'm weird because I don't necessarily like people touching it because I've had problems where things get messed up and people drop things or they bang things into stuff or it gets misplaced. It's like I just rather do it myself, and also I don't like being spoiled like that with a thing. But where it's like where you have the biggest instrument in the room,
There it is again.
we have to. Yeah, any kind of penis innuendo automatically gets the bell. I have a whole format for what we follow with that. There's strict rules.
Exactly. Yeah, it's on a whiteboard.
Yeah. But anyway, I digress from the penis innuendos. That's just what you do, because not only is it, again, it's not just etiquette with the place or the other bands, but within your own group. And Rachel had a really good point in what she had written me, because she said, we're all on the same team. Whether you're within the one band or other bands, you're all on the same team. It's not a competition. Everyone should be helping each other out, and there has to be some sort of respect with that kind of thing. So when you have guys in a group and, they always make that joke. They're like, oh, it's the lead singer. He just stands over there and does nothing while everyone's packing in. Oh, not carrying anything. And people would always bust my chops for that. And it's like, dude, I'm carrying all of my shit. I'm literally carrying everything I possibly can.
Right. And we typically travel with a sound system. I mean, we're not that baller. I mean, we have to bring literally every piece of equipment, and we don't have people. I mean, luckily we have a few helping hands from time to time, but we gotta we're pretty much hauling all that stuff ourselves.
I mean, it's like we'll get to gigs and we'll have some ample time to set up, and all the band guys will be rolling in. The best possible thing they do is they come in like, hey man, what's going on? What do you need me to grab? And I love that. That is like such a good attitude. What do you need me to grab? What do you need me to set up? Can I do anything? That's awesome. And sometimes we need help, or sometimes it's we're good. But it's like at least if you have other people kind of helping. And not only is like I always say, respecting the space kind of thing, which with that kind of with as far as etiquette goes, for setting up, but taking down and cleaning up and breaking your equipment down is very important too, because you gotta be clean and you gotta be neat. Because how many gigs have we gone to where it's either a band played the night before, or a band played the set before, or they played earlier in the day, and it just looks like absolute garbage. Like it looks like a fucking tornado went through.
It's not acceptable to, leave beer glasses laying around, or food remnants and trash.
Well, that's like, that's make it look like a big dump, man. That's like, we've had gigs we've gone to where it's like specifically one place near us or closer to us, where it was everyone community cables and things, and we'd go there and there'd be stuff missing because a band played earlier in the day and they just took stuff, and we would get blamed for it. And that's the worst thing, because having to be the band on the receiving end of that, it's awful, because then they lose trust in you.
I remember that email.
Yeah, that was a great one, where they're just like, oh, hey, you're taking all of our stuff, and
or you left the you left the stage a mess, and literally the venue, the person that runs the venue is emailing us about the condition we left the stage in, and we're like, excuse me, we got up there and we cleaned it. I mean, I remember handing glasses down to a waitress and like their leftover food, and I was like, this isn't, we just got up here, this isn't ours. But no, we got blamed for that. We also probably got blamed for stealing equipment and cables and things like that, which we bring all of our own. Funny.
Yeah, we label everything. But I remember that gig with the glasses and stuff. That one, there's been more like that, specifically where that was a New Year's Eve one, and there was a band that played earlier in the day, and they were offering like all the free beer stuff to bands, and I hate the look of glasses and bottles and stuff up on a stage. But the band was just going nuts before us. And we walk up and it was disgusting up there. It's all like half-eaten food. There's half-filled glasses. It's stuff spilled. And it's like, and I've had that too, where you have closer bands in a closer proximity to you. Like we've done gigs in Philly or what have you. And, we get up on stage and there's just bottles everywhere, or there's bottles on the amp, or there's shit spilled and you're kicking stuff, or they're getting out of your way and they're kicking all shit over, and it's like, dude, this is not good. And that's like, I love the smaller music venues, they're fun, but they all do have a specific look, and the specific look is no one cares. And that's such a shame. It's a shame where it's like, the carpet was never brown, but now it is, and it's because just people walk in, they do not give a shit, and they leave because they left a shit. That's literally what it is.
Right, and
You never will. Yeah,
It's even.
Yeah, you never.
Sorry, go.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I said
I'm just gonna make a stupid joke. It's not funny. Don't worry.
Oh, good. I saved everybody. I said it's even worse when they actually have equipment for you. Like, when there's a backline of equipment, and don't get too excited, but like, it is. I've never had like where the equipment's really nice. No, it's all beat. People don't take care of it. And that's the sad part. And for me, like, if I see that drums are provided, oh my God, it makes my day, because it's like less I have to take. But I've learned through the years that I don't trust that. I still bring my own stuff, but it's a shame because I shouldn't have to. It should be in working order. It should be taken care of, but people do not care. They just end up using the drums as a gigantic coaster or food tray.
Yeah. There was I remember, and that's why, because you always bring your backup equipment. So it kind of sucks for you, because it's, even though Lego drums provided, you're like, I'm still bringing everything, because who knows what's going to work. There was the one specific big street festival that we played, and the kick drum pedal wasn't working, and it was sliding away. Like, it was literally sidestepping away from the kit. That was lovely. And those, oh my God, it's like held on with duct tape, and it's falling apart. And there was one gig that we did in New Hope, PA, and they were like, yeah, we got drums. And they didn't have drums. It was a kick drum, a snare drum, and a floor tom. And that floor tom looked like Oscar the Grouch was going to pop out of it. Like, it looked like fucking trash cans.
I thought they were using it for
like
trash
cans. Yeah, and we're just like, what? You can't say you have things like that for bands. And I guess it's a lot of the places don't really realize what a band requires, but it's also the people using it and beating the hell out of it because it's not theirs. And it's like, that is definitely not respect. You're hitting two shitty birds with one big turd, where you're not respecting the space because you're abusing the equipment, which then also makes you not respect the other bands who have to play there. So it's like, the etiquette's not hard to follow with this kind of thing. You just have to be nice. You have to be courteous. You have to understand it's like everyone is in the same boat with all this kind of stuff, And what I was going to say was, you never take a shit. You always leave a shit. And that is how it always is with these goddamn gigs, because I love doing don't laugh at it, it's not funny, but I love doing the multi-band gigs. They're fun. I like meeting other bands. We've met so many bands we network with, and we do a lot of stuff with. But man, it's just like sometimes it's brutal with that. Like, when we used to throw our big shows that we either did the night before Thanksgiving ones, or we would rent out the rooms at the banquet halls near us, or the theater we used to rent out and do stuff where we'd have a couple bands on a bill. I mean, we set the whole room up, and we broke the whole room down. I mean, chairs, tables, everything. We put everything back where it had to go. We cleaned up all the garbage that we had to do. We had everything was provided for people. We talked them through how to use it. We never, ever would trash anything like that. I mean, what good would that be? Because that's not going to help anything run smoothly. I mean, we had it like clockwork for all the gigs we did. It was absolute clockwork.
Yeah,
I mean,
we certainly tried. Because I think our previous experiences has like helped plan it. Like, we know what we can't stand, from our past. Yeah. So we're just kind of like, let's try and do this better. And hopefully, if for the other groups that are listening, I hope we did a good job. I think we did.
I think we did, because I mean, from doing so many gigs where it was it was less than fortunate for us. We learned what to do and what not to do. Like, you have people come up on stage and you're using their equipment and they blow out an amp or they destroy something, and it's like, yeah, we're not going to have that happen. We're going to do everything to get around that. So that's why we were very selective with any of the bands we've picked to be on shows like that. I mean, we've still had some little issues here and there. I mean, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, the Christmas light incident, that's probably one of my favorites, because
oh, great, you got to bring it up again.
Sorry, I thought you were going to have an aneurysm. It was terrible. Like that, like things like that, where, long story short, we had spoken about this in a previous episode, but William had put on a lovely, lovely coat of paint and finish on these drum shells. It looked sharp as shit. And a gentleman who was using his drums for the night, because Will's kit was the house kit for the evening, now you've got everyone coming up to play this damn thing, beating the hell out of it, and a gentleman got old school, not LED, but old school Christmas lights, and draped them very violently all over this drum kit, and then proceeded to beat the hell out of these drums like Fred Flintstone, and it was not great.
Not cool, man.
It was not good. I mean, I couldn't imagine. Like, I understand having an amp be like, that part of the house backline. Like, I have amps. Like, people can use my stuff when we do that, but to have drums or something that you physically play, I could never feel comfortable with that. So power to you, because that weirds me out. Because it's just, I know someone would scratch something, they'd beat the shit out of something, they'd break a string, they'd throw it. Like, no.
It's a tough pill to swallow, but I mean, it just made sense for the flow, because we didn't want the tearing down of the drum sets and somebody else putting it back up. It just takes so much time, and it's just easier when a drummer can come in and just like put his cymbals down and bring a snare drum, and he'd be fine. So like, I'm not too keen on people playing my stuff, but like I wanted to be less stressed, and I wanted people to be happy and to run smoothly, and that's also, I would think, would probably be part of the etiquette. It's like, when we had those things, it's like I let people borrow my stuff, but like, I also like made sure that they need, everything was good. I'd come over and be like, how's everything? Good? Feel free to move anything, do whatever you need to do. Do you need something else? Like, that's...
Well, you were so easygoing with that kind of stuff, though. You weren't strict with it, which is great, because I guess there's got to be that mutual kind of trust between, you supplying it and then the person playing it.
Right.
That's such a difficult thing.
And having
because
a lower end, more robust equipment and drum set versus, my good stuff, I keep at home,
Yeah, no, I don't blame you.
So for
dude.
like,
no.
You just got to know and be prepared for the situation. So it's like, obviously I'm not going to bring my really nice stuff, but I always take care of my stuff no matter what. Doesn't mean like this set is neglected or anything. It's just, it's older and, it's less expensive. So I'm like, I'll just use that, and, hopefully it works out.
Yeah.
And everything was fine. I mean, except for those lights and the fact that he, put craters into those drums. But
oh no, I felt so bad, man. That was the night we had the new drum head on it too. We had the logo the first time we got the logo on the drum head.
Yeah, I had new drums.
That was that night?
New drum heads all the way around, and as for a drummer, he should know. It's like those heads are like $15 a pop, depending on the size. It's like,
yep.
I normally never get new heads, and I'm like, it's brand new look. I'm gonna get some new heads. Sure as shit. By the end of the night, it looked like the moon had so many craters on it.
Well, that was too. He had the walking kick drum as well, because he was beating the shit so hard out of it. And it's at that point where you have someone playing like that and they just don't care. And that's the worst. It's like they just do not care. There's no respect. They're not thinking, oh, this is someone's drums. This is someone else's expensive instrument. They're just like, I'm going to beat the hell out of this. It's a testosterone thing at this point. And that I cannot stand. Because there was one time I had an instance of that, and I had words with the gentleman, and I was not having it, because I had a gig that we played where it was that I had to go sit in with someone where I was playing throughout the night. And I had my instrument up there, and it was one of the big guns that I don't normally bring out, assuming I'm just going to be the only one. And then they do the thing, we're going to invite someone else up to play. Let him play your guitar. And it's like, oh, please don't. If he didn't bring one, don't have him play. And then he's got to play one of my expensive things, and beating the hell out of it, sweating all over it. Oh, I had to change the strings the next fucking day. They were new strings I put on this one particular guitar, and he was so clammy and sweaty. I had to change the strings the next day. I had to oil the neck down because it was disgusting.
Oh God! What guitar was it?
It was my Blue SG.
Oh, it's the Blue SG. All right, yeah.
The blue Gibson.
Oh, man,
the
that's
SG
wrong.
Supreme. And it was gross, and it's just like, ugh. And it's like he's not only playing it hard, he's beating the hell out of it. I had to buff the body because he's making pick scratches all over everything. I remember he physically.
Oh, I'd cringe.
The whatever pick that I was using, I think it was like red or white or something. It showed up easily on the body. There was literally like pick powder under the strings from him like strumming so hard, and he was just beating the hell out of it. Like, it wasn't great. It wasn't anything. And she's like, oh, yeah, let him play your guitar. He's going to come up. I don't even think they said, oh, let him play your guitar. I think they said, oh, we're just going to have so-and-so come up and sit in with us. And he just, like, picked mine up. And I'm like, oh, you got to be shitting with me. I told him, I said, do you ever play anyone else's instruments? And he was like, nah, man, but that thing was great. And I was like, don't ever touch it again. I said, you need to learn how to respect an instrument like that.
It's so unnecessary.
And it was great. This man was like 3 times my senior, and I just didn't care at that point. I wasn't mean about it, but I was like, you can't treat an instrument like that. Like, this was not yours. This is very expensive. You go home. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know. Oh, dude, it was brutal. But I mean, looking at this whole kind of spectrum of everything as far as etiquette and respect goes, and the order of it, what do you think, because you always have these wonderful words of wisdom with everything, whether it be in a public rehearsal space where you have other bands going back and forth all day, whether it be for school or more of a recording space or more of the actual like a performing rock band kind of space, or you have the multi-band shows and things like that. We have a lot of bands on a bill. What do you think are some of the most important factors to keep in mind if we had to sum this guy up? Like, what can you do to just make it run smoothly if everyone kind of does it in unison? What could make these things run way smoother than, all the horror stories we've talked about?
Yeah. I guess they all kind of are the same in one way or the aspect, I think it's just being aware of your surroundings. It's like, be aware and be cautious and courteous about
Cautious is a good one. Nice.
Yeah, and respectful of people's time. It's we're all in it together. Everybody's trying to do the same thing. So, it's just a matter of just paying attention. It's common sense. This is really nothing crazy, but it seems very difficult for some people to follow. But
they just can't comprehend it for some reason.
I think you said it before.
Or they think the rules don't apply to them, which is the worst.
Right, and I think you said it before. I think the kind of the silver lining in all of it. I think it's an ego thing when it comes down to it.
100%.
I just think that people think that they're better than others, so they don't have to respect equipment, time. They don't have to be nice to people, and I think those are the ones that have a hard time with it. But for us that like to follow the rules here, it's just like
bunch of dweebs like us.
Yeah, it's just being respectful. I mean, I just take the time to sit back. We know what we got to do. We know the time frame that we're playing. It's just for me, I just sit back. I let the band before us, whether it's a rehearsal or playing, I let them get all their stuff, collect themselves, and let them get out of the way, and then it's our time. And I'm quick on setup. We're all very quick on setup because we gotta either play or we gotta rehearse. There's really, we can't afford to lose any time. And the same thing with takedown and tear down of things. It's but you're gonna get the person that's gonna take their time. Tearing down and stuff like that. So be it. You can't control it. I'd rather wait it out so equipment doesn't get mixed up and you don't get blamed for things or if things go missing. It's just let them do what they got to do. Don't try and set up when other people are trying to tear down. Just get on and get off. That's the thing. I mean,
that's what it is.
It's not.
And we're pretty good at getting off, I'd imagine.
I think we're experts.
Now that was the bell. But the one big thing that I realized, and it really kind of helped ease my mind with the whole situation of, trading the stage, or so to speak, is you have two things, and they're going to make you two different options, and they're going to make you, or two different instances, they're going to make you feel better about the whole thing. You're either going to go up there while you're swapping your gear, and the other band is really sweet to you, and they're really nice, and they take, they're either helping you bring stuff up or you help them take stuff off, and it's a teamwork kind of thing, and you're nice and you become buds, and then you network, and that's a great relationship, and they like your set and you like their set, and that makes you feel pretty good. Or you try to talk to the other band, they're a bunch of cocky little shits, and the problem with that is usually when they're really cocky and really full of themselves, they're usually probably pretty terrible, or they don't sound very good and they're not well rehearsed, that's even better for you now being one of the other bands, because you're thinking, you know what, we blew these dudes out of the water and they're so full of themselves. So it works out in either way, which is always
It's a great way to
and
put
that's
it,
at
yeah.
least something.
That's
That's
so
something
true.
that I always. Yeah, I mean, we've experienced both. Like, we have so many friends we've made from the different music scenes of being on bills with people, because you never know who you're going to be on unless you know the group already or you're friends with them or you request to be on it. It's usually a crapshoot. You never know. So as long as everyone just kind of respects, you know, the space, the other bands, and then the band that you're in. I mean, it's that little trifecta of respect. If you can get through that, I feel, you know, the good band and performer etiquette isn't that hard to follow. It's just common human decency, and I think that's the most important thing.
Absolutely.
But that's just me.
No,
that's just me.
No,
I
you
don't-
are right.
I would like to think. Oh my god!
You just dropped me. For those listening, he
I
just
did,
dropped me.
I literally. Oh my god! I literally did what you did last week.
Yeah.
Son of a bitch. Oh, my iPad took a slam because I pulled on my headphone cable, and it looked like Will just fell asleep on my desk because the whole thing fell over. We're good though. You hit the bell on your way down. I don't know if you heard.
Oh, I was reaching for it.
Nice. Well, I think on that note, Rachel, hopefully we were able to kind of put this in a better perspective and to kind of take something a little more negative as, you know, the rudeness and the lack of respect, but kind of put it in a more positive light of what can be done about it, or just how to avoid that negativity, because, man, I'm all about just the absence of negativity in my life on and off the stage.
Take the high road.
I loved. Yeah.
I mean, what's
yeah,
the
baby.
worst? What's the worst that's gonna happen? I mean, like you said, it's just, you know, be the better person, and, you know, you make great connections. And honestly, if you're organizing an event, you know the bands that you're not gonna invite. You know.
Yeah,
It's like-
we've done it before.
You know,
we've done it, but yeah,
it
I
pays off.
totally does. And I liked this question. I liked this topic. This was very good, Rachel. Thank you so much for sending this in. So I would just like to thank everybody again for listening. You know, it's our 14th week doing this thing. I think we're having a blast doing. Hopefully you guys are all having fun listening to it. If you would like to submit a question, go to charleslorita.com/contact for us to answer in a long format kind of style like we did whatever time of day you're listening to this. I was going to say tonight because as we're recording it at night, but it might be during the day. It might be in the morning. I don't know. You might be on your way to somewhere fun or not. Who knows? You might be in your living room. Might be really sad. That's okay regardless, though, because we're all sad when we're recording
We're
this.
with you. That's
if you'd
all that
like
matters.
yeah. We're with you in spirit and in words and in just massive penis innuendos, and it's great. If you would like to support us on Patreon and be one of our patrons for $1 a month, and you get your name in the end of any of the videos that we do in the credit section, stuff like that. And we also have some access to some super secret merch discounts that the public doesn't have. You can go to charleslorita.com. On our homepage, there's a big orange button that says Patreon, and you can go through that. If you do become one of our patrons, we appreciate it immensely, and we're completely humbled and honored to have that. And if not, we still love you just the same as we always do. Whew, that was a mouthful.
That was flawless.
I'm gonna ring that one again because it was just kind of funny. But guys, this has been the Drop the Beat podcast. This was a great one this week. Hopefully you all enjoyed listening. My name is Charles Lorita,
And I'm Will Sarver.
and we will see you guys next week. Thank you so much.
Later.
See ya.